Welcome in once again to Food City Friday. We have Chef Julie with us today, world traveler.
Here we go.
World traveler, Chef Julie, just back from a very important trip to South Africa.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on, but you actually brought a recipe back for us.
I did. Anytime I travel, I look out for y'all and for myself. I want to find out what are the local flavors, the favorites that are there, and see if it's something I can recreate back at my house. And for my new South African friends, I asked them, what is y'all's favorite dessert? And without hesitation, they all said Malva Pudding.
I'm looking forward to this. I would love new dishes. Love new dishes.
And it's very good. And honestly, I bet almost everyone has these ingredients in your pantry right now. So, and it would be a great dessert for the winter, I'll be honest. And it is winter down there because our seasons are opposite. But this is really delicious. It's easy to make. It's really a cake that you soak in a hot cream sauce at the end, and it's very rich and very good. So we're going to start with an 8x8 pan. I've lightly greased it so the cake comes out easy. And now we're going to mix the cake. I already have 2 eggs in here and 3/4 cup of sugar. And I've whipped it where it's, you see it's kind of pale and kind of thick. That is important to get it to that step. You can make this in a stand mixer, a hand mixer, or just use a whisk. Either way, it's going to be just fine. So once you have that together, you're going to add apricot jam, 1 tablespoon. So that's something, every recipe I looked up had apricot jam in it. So we just mix that right in there. I love the taste of apricots too. So, and it's just a tablespoon, but it does make a difference. It's going to make it give it a little sweetness there. And I'm going to let you pour in our butter. That's a tablespoon of melted butter.
Got melted butter. There you go.
That's real simple. And then another ingredient, vinegar. Actually, 1 teaspoon of vinegar.
And I want to showcase these little beakers. These are very precise little measuring devices that you have here.
Yes, I have a whole set.
I'm going to dump that in there.
Dump that in. Honestly, I think that's to kind of help the baking soda pop that we'll be using here in just a minute, because that's the only leavening is baking soda in this dish.
Because most of the time when you mix baking soda and vinegar together,
it kind of does something, doesn't it? All right. I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla here, just a little splash of that.
All right.
Okay, and then over here I'm going to let you do our dry ingredients. We have about 1.25 cups of flour, and in here we have 1 teaspoon of soda and 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and just mix that around.
I'm going to mix that together.
Yep.
All right.
Yep, pretty simple stuff.
And you were saying you had to bring 2 whisks because you never want to use the dry whisk with the wet ingredients.
Yeah,
or
now
vice versa.
At home, maybe I wouldn't have cared, but I have to always imagine the segments to myself, and it took me a few reruns in my head to realize, oops, I need another whisk. All right, I think that's going to be great. So I'm going to let you add the flour there, and I'm going to add the milk and just put it in there, and we'll mix it up. This is a 1/3 cup of milk that we're adding with this flour mixture. And you just mix it together, y'all. This is really, as you can tell, this is not tricky stuff. It's very simple. You're just going to mix it up so all the dry has gone away. You have preheated your oven to 350 degrees at this point. It's going to bake about 30 minutes. That's all it took for mine was to bake for 30 minutes.
So it's a fairly quick.
It is a fairly quick one. You want to pass that over here.
Absolutely.
And we'll just pour this in. And like I said, it's only, see how thin it is? It's a fairly thin batter. So it bakes up kind of like a cake. It gets nice and golden on top.
Well, that baking soda in there, it's going to rise up.
It's going to rise up and just be great. So again, 350 degrees for about 30 minutes. And it'll come out. Once it comes out, you're going to let it sit for about 10 minutes. And while that's happening, you're going to make what I'm going to show you next, which is the delicious cream, that sauce that we're going to put on top and let it all soak in and be delicious and wonderful.
I'm looking forward to that. And of course, you know, we're going to talk more about your Africa trip, but what led you to go to South Africa?
Well, our church had a mission trip planned to go. Our worship pastor, Louis Britz at Celebration Church, is South African. And so he's also a well-known musician there. And so he always likes to go back, and he has all kinds of contacts. And so he put this trip together, and there was about 12 of us on the team. And we did all kinds of stuff while we were over there.
We're going to have some pictures to show you a little bit later on that you took of some wildlife and some other amazing scenery there. Now, what goes in, but we're not going to put it together right now, but the topping, what goes into the topping?
The topping is going to be whipping cream and butter, sugar, a little hot water, and then some of this special stuff.
And we'll talk more about that in just a moment. All right. It is Food City Friday with Chef Julie, and she is making Malva Pudding. Love it. Love it. Folks, if you want to find out about all the ingredients that we're using here today, except for maybe that amarula right there,
probably not that one.
You can find it at Food City and FoodCity.com.